Hi guys, I'm Leo, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'm doing my review of NXT Deadline. So the first match of the night was Dragon Lee defeating Rey Mysterio to become the new North American champion. In my opinion, I don't understand how you could start off the last premium live event of the year with such a tragedy. Dominic was so unlucky, and I'm sure he'll get his rematch at some point, and it's a huge shame that he's not the North American champion anymore, because he was just the greatest champion. He even said it and he recognized it himself. He was the greatest North American champion of all time. But yeah, the match itself was good. Definitely showed the improvements that Dominic has made over the past year. I think there's a stat here now that he's had the most televised or maybe even the most matches in WWE this year, which is huge for him. And yeah, and you can see it in the ring. He was holding his way up really well throughout this match, and yeah, it was really taking Dragon Lee to the limit, who definitely has more experience than him. But yeah, no, I do wonder whether Wesley was supposed to win if he had been fit for the match. And whether having Dragon Lee come in as a last minute thing was at least putting the championship on him, even though it was a last minute decision, was an idea they had last minute, or an idea they had anyway, since they knew Wesley was injured. But I don't know, I would have definitely gone with Wesley to get the win if it had been him in the match, but I wasn't expecting Dominic to lose the title to Dragon Lee, especially they've had matches before and Dominic's got the win against him in the past. But yeah, I think Dragon Lee will make a decent champion. I assumed he was going to be more on SmackDown now, but obviously due to the title change he'll be floating between SmackDown and NXT pretty regularly. But yeah, I expect good things out of the reign. Dragon Lee's pretty good in the ring. He needs to separate himself from Rey Mysterio. The next Rey Mysterio luchador trope has to end at some point. I don't think it's going to do Dragon Lee any favours, but other than that, match itself was really good. You can see Dominic's progression so far, and all positives from me. Just a massive tragedy that Mysterio is no longer champion. Following that, we had the Women's Iron Survivor match, which was Lash Legend, Kalani Jordan, Fallon Henley, Blair Davenport and Tiffany Stratton, and Blair Davenport got the win. This was a really fun match. It wasn't as free-flowing as I thought it was going to be, and wasn't quite match of the night as I was expecting, but it was still good nonetheless. Stratton unfortunately didn't have the kind of performance I was expecting to have. She actually took most of the offense, or at least one of the people took most of the offense. And yeah, I think after this loss I do expect her to call up to the main roster pretty soon. Maybe after WrestleMania, maybe after SummerSlam next year, I'm not sure, but there's not a lot she can do in NXT now unless it's to do with the Women's Championship, and I can't see, she's not really in line for that at the minute, as there seems to be quite a line forming behind the Women's Championship, as we will get to in a bit. But for me, Lash Legend was the kind of breakout performer in this match, which I wasn't expecting at all. I wasn't really rating much as far as Lash Legend goes going into this match. But yeah, she impressed me overall. Very smart, hitting two people at once to go two ahead from the get-go. I'm happy that Blair got the win overall. She was one of the people I thought was in contention to win. I think my favourites were Blair or Stratton. I'm glad that Blair got the win, though I didn't predict it. Predictions-wise, I did pretty rubbish. I think I got only half of them right. But yeah, the thing with Blair Davenport is it's great she's going to have a title match, but she also has a feud going on with Nikita Lyons. I don't know whether they're going to go with that until New Year's Evil and then go into a feud with Lyra Valkyria and Blair Davenport after the fact. But either way, I can see kind of the women's title picture being Lyra Valkyria, Nikita Lyons, Blair Davenport and Cora Jade going into the new year, which will be really good. There'll be some great matches come out of there. Great to see Nikita Lyons back, and the kick she gave to Blair Davenport on the NXT before Deadline was brutal, so I'm looking forward to seeing their matches. And yeah, as I said just before, after the match, Blair Davenport and Lyra Valkyria didn't go face to face, but they stared each other down from the ramp of the ring, and Lyra Valkyria got attacked from behind by a returning Cora Jade, boobies and all. Yeah, I'm glad to see her back. I feel like she's going to bring a bit of fresh air back into the women's division that she should have been a champion of by now. She definitely deserves to be the women's champion. Whether she'll dethrone Laura Valkyrie, I'm not sure. I've got a feeling there's going to be more of a Becky Lynch situation with NXT as far as Cora Jade goes, where she doesn't quite become champion before she gets called up, but then she might come back down at some point and win the championship there. But yeah, I said the Iron Survivor match overall was really good, but the stipulation itself just makes it really good. It wasn't quite the match I thought it was going to be, and Cora Jade coming back to a big positive as well for the women's division. So though this match wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing where the women's division is going to be going into the new year. Next up, we have Carmelo Hayes defeating Lexis King. This was a decent match. Already, in my opinion, WWE are utilising Brian Pillman Jr. a lot better than AEW did. The Lexis King character is great, it's really good. I'm very much enjoying it. Like I said in the last review, I enjoy the entrance of being on the throne and it coming across the entrance part. I do like that. And yet just the cockiness of it kind of doesn't, in a way, it doesn't feel like Brian Pillman Jr. And I know that's the point, that's why they've not called him Brian Pillman Jr. But it's like completely different, and it's how do you say it now? Like a breeze of fresh air or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, it's really good, very happy with it, and yeah, the match itself was really good. I did expect King to get the win here, though, you know, in a way it makes sense. Like, he's used this as an opportunity just to get on the pay-per-view or premium live event, and kind of use the situation that Carmelo and Trick are in just as a way to get on the show, which I think is very clever and it works well for his character. Do I believe he didn't attract Trick? Yes, I fully believe he didn't attract Trick. I fully expected it to be Carmelo Hayes, but either way, yes, I haven't got much else written about this match other than it was a very good match. And though it wasn't the best match on the card, it was probably a close second maybe. But yeah, so very much looking forward to see where Lexis King goes, and Carmelo Hayes I think is main roster bound at any minute. Like, probably even more bound than Bron Breakker, which I also thought was going to be at any minute, probably about this time last year. But yeah, all positives all around from this one, and hopefully Lexis King start getting some wins and start getting some championships. Following that, we had the men's Iron Survivor match, which was won by Trick Williams. He defeated Tyler Bates, Dijak, Josh Briggs, and Bron Breakker. This match was really good. I said, as you can see on the screen, it was my match of the night. Yeah, it was brilliant. I didn't know who was going to win it multiple times during the match. At one point I thought it was going to be Tyler Bate because he was on a bit of a run, but also keeping pins from happening so then that he would stay in front. Then I thought it was going to be Bron Breakker when he came in and absolutely dominated the match from 40 seconds in, I think it was. He got 3 pins to take the lead. And then, man, the finish of that match with Trick Williams going absolutely crazy and getting 4 pins was absolutely the best way to get the crowd popped and to make Trick feel like such a huge deal going into the year. He fully deserves a title shot, I think. Do I think he's going to beat Ilya Dragunov? I don't. I think Carmelo Hayes is going to possibly cost him the match, which would then result in a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver between Dragunov, Hayes and Williams, and then maybe that's when they pull the trigger on Williams, and then Hayes can maybe take the pin in that match, be called up to the main roster and the Raw after WrestleMania. I feel that'd be an awesome way to figure that situation out. Plus, it doesn't make Ilya Dragunov look too bad, who, in my opinion, should already be on the main roster, but I'm happy that he's down in NXT having banger matches. But yeah, so, as I said, this was probably the most enjoyable match of the night. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's very, very good. And yeah, so I look forward to seeing Trick in the main event scene, as long as Carmelo Hayes doesn't get too much involved. And yeah, huge moment for Trick on this premium live event. Following that, we had Kiana James defeat Roxanne Perez inside of a steel cage. This was an alright match, nothing that special about it, quite mediocre for a cage match, especially as like the last time I think we saw a cage match was Trish and Becky Lynch, which was a very good match. In my opinion, the right woman won. Kiana needed the win more than Roxanne Perez. Especially if they're going to make more of a star out of Kiana James, which is something they definitely should be doing. She has the athleticism, she has the look, she has everything I think you need to become a main roster women's champion, which I've said on multiple occasions about Kiana James. And yeah, I think looking at her character more and seeing her entrance and stuff like that, she would be a great leader of a faction. Maybe not something like Damage Control, but like a women's evolution, like that kind of thing would be awesome. I think would fit her character so well. Especially she's seen as like a boss character. yeah, I think it'd be an ideal fit. I know she has, I forgot what her name is. She helped to win the match, and just like Izzy Dime or something. I think it's Izzy Dime, I'm not sure, but. And that could just be the start of a faction that could end up leading to something really good. You could factor in Elektra Lopez and Lola Vice and her title shot and all this other stuff, and you could make a pretty formidable team in a developmental system. And yeah, I expect a bright future for Kiana James, even if it's just in NXT and not the main roster. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what she has going for in the future, where she goes from here. As for Roxanne Perez, I'm really not sure what she does next. You know, she's been a women's champion, she's been a women's tag champion. There's really not much else for her to do in NXT, but I can't see her being a massive factor in the main roster. You know, she's very small, and WWE aren't doing much with small people if you name not Rey Mysterio. And yeah, I just can't see where she would fit in on the main roster. Therefore, I'm not quite sure where she goes from here, and I worry that she's going to get more lost in the shuffle than anything else. But yeah, alright cage match, not the best one I've seen, but the right person won, and I think for me that's the main. And finally, in the main event, Ilya Dragunov defeated Baron Corbin to retain the NXT Championship. This was a great match. Ilya Dragunov's resiliency comes in again to winning matches. It did against Gunter, it did against Carmelo Hayes, and it's done it again here. It's unrivaled. His resilience is absolutely incredible, and yeah, it's just something that makes his matches just so good to watch. For me, this was definitely Baron Corbin's best match to date. Like, he really stood out here more than he has done, I think, ever, in my opinion. Like, I've not really seen him as much of anything in the past. I know some people would be the same when it comes to Corbin, and yeah, this move to NXT has been really good for him. I know he's technically a free agent, but if they can make him stick around NXT for as long as they need him, he's going to get better and better, even though he was good before. Like, you know, this is really revitalising his career, in my opinion, which is something he definitely needed after the whole King Corbin, and then Happy Corbin, and then Bum-ass Corbin, and then Happy Corbin, and all this other stuff it was getting more comedic and he's the kind of guy who has the height, he has the kind of the look to be a threat, and he was just being used as a comedy character, and it was a shame in a way. But yeah, I'm glad that he's getting to a point where he's being taken more seriously and has kind of world title matches that don't feel so one-sided and so predictable. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Ilya Dragunov come to the main roster. I know a lot of people want him to be the one to dethrone Gunter as the Intercontinental Champion. If they're going to call him up, it might be after WrestleMania this or next year. But I cannot wait to see some of the matches he has on the main roster with people such as Gunter, Chad Gable, Ricochet, just to name a few. I think will be incredible. And yes, for Corbin, I said keep him around NXT. He's killing it down there. He doesn't need to be on the main roster right now. But yeah, I'm not sure who Dragunov goes against next, other than Trick Williams at New Year's Eve. I don't know whether he has a mini feud just on television until then. But yeah, I think Ilya Dragunov is by far the best wrestler in NXT, and they are probably going to keep the title on him maybe until Trick takes it off him if they want to pull the trigger on Trick, or maybe after that. But if it isn't Trick, I'm not sure who it will be, but I very much look forward to watch his reign continue. So those are my thoughts and opinions on NXT Deadline. Obviously this is the last WWE Premium Live event of the year. Starting from next year, I'll start doing tallies for NXT as well as for Impact. And yeah, as I said, it was a really good show. The Iron Survivor match is so good, and like they should really be adopting it on the main roster as well. But like War Games once was, it's actually quite nice having it as just an NXT thing rather than a shared stipulation between the main roster and NXT. But yeah, do put in the comments what you thought of the show, your opinions on Iron Survivor, you know, where you think everyone is going afterwards, and who's kind of going to be the stars of next year. I know for me, I've definitely got my eye on Trick Williams, Kiana James. Somebody else I want to keep an eye on, but I can't remember them now. But yeah, as I said, very good year for NXT in my opinion. They're kind of going back to the way things used to be when it was Black and Gold and Gargano and Ciampa and Balor and Riddle were all around. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens next year with NXT. And as I said, I will be covering it a lot more on the channel compared to this year when I've just done kind of the back end of the year of NXT and Impact. As I said, I will be doing tallies for NXT next year as well, like WWE and AEW. So yeah, do like the video, subscribe, follow the Instagrams on the screen, the handle. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later.